Good morning, guys. Welcome in here to Play by Play Radio. We're live in Camp Green Lane, PA. Here, in front of a live audience. I'm Michael Mursky. I got Ian Petruka and Brad Romano here with me. We are less than a month away from the start of the NFL season. September 7th at Arrowhead Stadium, the Detroit Lions are coming down to play the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, in February of 2024, we have Super Bowl 58. Obviously, that's a long ways away, but it's never too early to start predicting the Super Bowl. And with the NFL season a month away, Ian, who's winning Super Bowl 58?
The team that's going to be taking home the Lombardi this year is going to be the Dallas Cowboys. I know people have said every single year this is our year, but truly, this is the year. They have one of the most well-rounded teams right next to the Eagles, and they split games with the Eagles every year. They have one of the best wide receiver cores in the league, even with the addition of Brandon Cooks and dropping Amari Cooper. That was a great pickup. And we have a top 3 CB duo in the league in Stephon Gilmore, Trayvon Diggs. We also have one of the most versatile defensive players in NFL history in Micah Parsons, and he will erupt this season and win Defensive Player of the Year.
You know what, Ian, I agree. I got the Cowboys also. For those out in the audience, if you have a question, a comment, anything you want to say, feel free to raise your hands. Brad, who's winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a repeat again and go with the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't see this team stopping anytime soon. Patrick Mahomes is undoubtedly the best quarterback in the league. And I know what people are going to say, well, they have no receivers. Well, they have the best tight end in the league in Travis Kelce. We saw them win the Super Bowl last year with no true wide receiver one, and I think they're going to do it again. The O-line solid with the young Creed Humphrey, the veteran Joe Tootie. On defense, you got a great pass rush led by a top 10 player in the league, in my opinion, Chris Jones. Nick Bolton's an up-and-coming linebacker. Trent McDuffie's an up-and-coming quarterback with Jerry Sneed. I think all around this Chiefs team is just so unstoppable, and I don't see them stopping anytime soon. Andy Reid's going to cook up great plays. The Mahomes, Reid, and Kelce duo is going to be great.
All right, we got a question, back row to the right.
My question's for Ian. So you said the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl. They just lost Zeke Elliott to the Patriots. How do you think they're going to do without him?
Tony Pollard, he was still one of the best running backs in the league with Zeke. Zeke was more of a power back. Now, since the departure of Zeke, he will have to take on most of the carries with Malik Davis and Deuce Vaughn. But I believe he will get more red zone touches, and he will stretch the field and score many points.
Ezekiel Elliott, now a New England Patriot. Now, I know you didn't necessarily prepare this. I'm going to ask you a question kind of on the spot here. You have the Chiefs, you have the Cowboys. Who do you think is going at it from the NFC, and who do you think is going to have it from the AFC? Let's start with you, Brad.
From the NFC, honestly, I'm going with the repeat again. I'm going with the Eagles. Eagles all around just look like a great team once again. Jalen Hurts proved to be a dual-threat quarterback last year. They got a new run game with DeAndre Swift, who I think could be very good. They got one of the best receiving duos, if not the best receiving duo in the league, in A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Dallas Goedert's a very solid tight end. We know how good the Eagles' O-line is with great veterans. The pass rush is getting even younger now with Jordan Davis, and you got veterans like Brandon Graham and Fletcher Cox. On the secondary, James Bradbury and Darius Slay are going to be a great quarterback duo. This team is just no blind spots, in my opinion. The Eagles are just such a all-around improved team, and I think it's going to be a repeat of Chiefs-Eagles this year.
I'm going to go with another successful playoff team in the AFC. I'm going to go with the Bengals. Last year they would have made it, but they had a controversial call in the AFC Championship against the Chiefs, which would have led them to the Super Bowl and possibly a win. I believe this Bengals team is young. They're new. But Joe Burrow is going to have an MVP contention season, and you have a great O-line. He won't be under pressure at all. You got a top running back in Joe Mixon. You have, if not one of the best wide receiver cores in the league, and their defense is improving every single day, and that's one of the best teams in the league, and I believe they're going to Super Bowl.
Burrow's a bit banged up to start the year. He might not play the first couple weeks, but obviously it's the end of the season that gets you to February. We got another question here.
And my question's for Brad. So you said you think we're going to see a Super Bowl rematch. Do you think there's going to be a different result?
There definitely could be a different result with this Eagles team becoming more experienced and even more improved. I definitely think we could see an Eagles beat the Chiefs and get revenge, but I think we're going to see the Chiefs win again. I just don't see anyone stopping this Chiefs team. Year in and year out, everyone says the Chiefs are going to be a little overrated this year, and maybe they'll not go to the Super Bowl, and every year the Chiefs just win. They always win and win and win. The Mahomes, Kelce, and Reid duo is just going to be unstoppable. They have good, versatile wide receivers, even if they don't have a wide receiver one. Eagles will improve, but I don't see anyone stopping that Chiefs team.
We got a question in the back there from Yankees. Yeah. What did you want to say? Who's your pick for the Super Bowl?
With the Giants' new acquisitions, how do you think those new acquisitions will factor into the playoff run?
Well, me personally, and then we got another question here. Me personally, I don't think the Giants are going to make the playoffs. I just think the NFC is too stacked. I think there are 7, maybe 8 or 9 better teams in the NFC than the New York Giants. I'd put teams like Chicago, Detroit, Seattle all ahead of them. I think Washington's got a chance to be better than them. It's not that I think the Giants are bad. I think they can win 8 games. I think it's going to be closer to maybe like 7. I think it's going to be 7 or 8, 9 maybe. They're not getting into the double-digit wins.
How do you feel about the Detroit Lions? They were kind of up and coming last season, and I feel like they have the ability to make a push this season.
Right, what do you think about the Lions?
I think the Lions, one of the best offenses in the league last year. Jared Goff has proved to be a pretty solid quarterback. They got a great receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. Jameson Williams, hopefully he comes back in time. The O-line's improved. Defense still has some holes. This Lions team has a bright future under Dan Campbell, but to say they're a Super Bowl team yet, I think it's just way too far ahead. You're looking at like 5 years into the future, in my opinion. This team can win the division at best.
I don't think they can win the division. I actually think they're finishing 3rd in the division. I got Chicago and Minnesota, both over Detroit. I think the Lions are a bit overrated this year, and I really like the Bears. All right, that's going to do it here for Play-by-Play Radio. Thank you to our live audience in Green Lane PA. Have a great rest of your day.